We believe that this was a premeditated and pre-planned targeted incident.
Right now, an update on a pair of local homicide investigations, including one from yesterday right in the heart of downtown Madison. Plus, a story you'll only see on News 3 Now. Hear from Ukrainian refugees seeking safety in Wisconsin. News 3 Now at 10 starts right now. New details this evening about a high-profile murder case in Beloit. That shooting happened back on January 29th after a basketball game in the Beloit Memorial High School parking lot. 2 days later, Beloit Police Chief Andre Sales expressed frustration, saying many people saw the shooting, but no one was coming forward with any information. A warrant was issued for the suspect, 19-year-old Amari Goodall, more than 2 weeks later on February 16th. And then just yesterday, Goodall was arrested hundreds of miles away over in Michigan. The police chief providing an update today.
This incident shows if the community and the Beloit Police Department work together, we will clean up our city and we will bring these individuals to justice and the families can have peace.
The criminal complaint, Madison police were able to help authorities identify Goodall. 19-year-old Jion Broomfield died in that shooting. Goodall was located after a tip led police to Holland, Michigan. A tactical team took him into custody without incident. He'll face an extradition hearing before he can be sent back to Wisconsin. One of the persons of interest from last night's shooting in downtown Madison is now being classified as a suspect with homicide charges pending. The second person also still in jail on a probation violation. And today we learned the victim was shot just as he was leaving the Dane County Jail and was with a family member at the time. More than a dozen shell casings were found on scene on South Carroll Street.
We had an officer who had just arrived here at the CCB and saw the victim. He was immediately able to provide aid until EMS was able to arrive. We had officers rushing out of the CCB in the direction of the gunfire to quickly secure the perimeter and the crime scene.
Police have recovered a gun as well, found near the area where the two were taken into custody near the Alliant Energy Center. Now they're trying to figure out if it is the murder weapon. To weather now, flurries just hanging around. Gary with our certified most accurate forecast.
Yeah, they just don't want to quit. I mean, it's very, very light. Nothing sticking to the pavement right now, but we'll probably see them continue on for at least a couple more hours before they come to an end. Snow accumulations from the snow last night, generally in the 1 to 3 inch range. Lighter amounts are out toward the Mississippi River. It looked like the burst was like kind of right over Madison and areas just to the east, perhaps as much as almost 3 inches in Sullivan and a little more than 1.5 inches in Madison. But you can see on Doppler track the flurries showing up. High resolution Doppler shows the heavier flurries, if you can call them that. It's very light in the backyard, not even being detected by radar. Visibility is right now pretty high in most areas. So again, it's just flurries falling from the sky. High temperatures today above freezing. So some of the snow melted, especially on streets and sidewalks. Right now temperatures are right around or just below freezing. Here in Madison at the airport, 30 degrees, but still 34 in Janesville. By tomorrow morning, skies will clear out and temperatures will be down to about 22 for an overnight low. Tomorrow, look for sunny skies. High temperature back up at 44, so a lot of the snow will melt, but there's more on the way. I'll have more on that in the forecast in just a few minutes.
Jerry, thanks. The weather this morning made for a difficult day on the roads, not just in Wisconsin. This is video from I-94 in Minnesota where ice was covering a stretch of road. Fortunately, no one was seriously hurt. Yesterday, Governor Evers announced a $5 million plan to expand youth telehealth services across the state. Today, local mental health experts are weighing in. Tahlil Mohadeen has the story.
Actually are preferring telehealth.
For Dr. Andrea Polima, telemental health sessions for her young patients has become the new normal.
Say about once or twice a month, I'm going into clinic to see people that want to be seen in person.
She says what started as a way to social distance has now made it easier for parents to make their kids' mental health a priority.
You usually need to take off several hours a day to be able to get them to their appointment. Your kid then has to miss a couple hours of school.
It's a service Governor Evers is investing $5 million through the American Rescue Plan to expand.
In Madison, we're pretty highly saturated with providers, but even with that, it can take up to 6 months for kids to get in to be seen.
But UW Emeritus Counseling Psychology Professor Bruce Wampold says it may not be enough.
If the funding isn't permanent, then we really can't hire clinicians to fill positions because clinicians want to be hired for permanent positions.
He's also worried about kids getting access.
Patients need the infrastructure to do this. They need access to computers and high-speed internet.
Half of those funds, $2.5 million, will create shared access points at food pantries, homeless shelters, and schools.
Will the youth be able to use it in an environment where people are not present.
But Polima says the shortage in mental health providers isn't just about creating infrastructure and new positions, but also finding clinicians to fill those spots.
Funding for colleges and universities to train and educate providers.
Both believing there's a lot of problems yet to be solved, but considering the governor's move a step in the right direction. In Madison, Tahlil Muhiddin, News 3 Now.
New tonight, Tommy Thompson paying former President Trump a visit at Mar-a-Lago today. Thompson's former aide says the meeting was mostly about Wisconsin politics. The former four-term governor says he hasn't ruled out another run after recently stepping down as UW system interim president. Jared Kushner, a senior advisor to his father-in-law, former President Trump, becoming the highest-ranking member of the administration and first member of the Trump family to testify before the House committee investigating the January 6th attack on the Capitol. He sat today for a voluntary virtual hearing. Federal authorities are apparently expanding their investigation of the Capitol riots, now looking into the fundraising and organizing of the rally before rioters stormed the Capitol. In recent weeks, a grand jury in Washington has issued subpoenas connected to widening the investigation. New video tonight, a Coast Guard cutter offloading a massive haul. This was in San Diego today. Thousands of pounds of illegal narcotics worth more than $200 million. They dropped off 11,000 pounds of cocaine, more than 4,000 pounds of marijuana obtained during multiple busts in the Eastern Pacific. Crisis in Ukraine coverage now. The Pentagon says Ukrainian forces are now on the attack near the capital city of Kyiv and other cities despite ongoing Russian airstrikes. Tonight, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said he removed two top Ukrainian generals, calling them anti-heroes, saying, quote, "I do not have time to deal with all the traitors." Locally in Madison tonight, a group of UW students hosting a peace vigil at Library Mall. Organizers say they stand in solidarity with all individuals negatively impacted by the invasion. And only on News 3 Now, for the first time, we are hearing from Ukrainian refugees seeking safety in Wisconsin. Our Susan Simon joins us with a remarkable story. Susan.
Hi, Eric. Friendships can change your life and sometimes save your life. A local couple helped their Ukrainian friends escape the war and find refuge in Fitchburg. Every night for the past month, two families gather on the couch to watch the evening news. One with deep ties to Ukraine, the other from Ukraine.
The devastation was clear to see.
From the safety and serenity of a home in Fitchburg, Snezhana Baikova and her children, Arina and Daniel, stayed glued to the screen, watching the Russian invasion of their homeland.
All the people who were your friends, who were your family, what's going on with them, and in what conditions they are, and I cannot be happy.
The family fled with the help of their Wisconsin friends, Anne and Jeff Munson, who they met through an international adoption in Ukraine.
We knew we wanted to adopt two children the first time we adopted.
The Munsons adopted their sons, Jacob and Alexander, from Ukrainian orphanages in 2004. 6 years later, they returned to complete their family, adopting son Eric and daughter Katya. Through it all, the Munsons grew close and stayed connected to their Ukrainian interpreter, Vitaly. Vitaly is Snezhana's husband.
When we got to Kiev, we actually stayed with Snezhana and Vitaly. They gave up their bedroom. They slept on a couch. I mean, that's just what Ukrainians do. They just give up their heart.
As threats of a Russian invasion intensified, Anne and Jeff grew worried.
We're pretty clued into Ukraine, obviously, because of being there 3 times and having friends there. So we were watching it.
I told people, we need to get her to the United States.
The Munsons worked on a plan to get Snezhana and her children out of the country. But Vitaly, like all Ukrainian men, would have to stay behind.
Snezhana is the real hero in all of this. I mean, it's very easy to sit here and say, what can you do? I mean, she had to execute it.
I thought that maybe we are in danger. And I'm, as a woman, as a mom, I had to do something.
Snezhana made a decision that she should get prepared.
I had a little suitcase with all the documents, medical records of my kids, my diplomas, my apartment documents, ownership, and etc.
In a stroke of luck, she also had a valid tourist visa for the United States from a previous family trip. So you have that vital piece of paperwork. But what happens at the point where you say, we're getting out of here? What is that like emotionally?
It's extremely difficult to say go, just go or run or escape.
Right before the invasion, the family abandoned their home in Kyiv and headed into the unknown, driving 10 hours to a tiny cottage in the mountains. Yes. People in this country cannot imagine what that is like.
I will tell you only one thing. I had a chance to see by video my apartment 2 days ago, and I have friends who stayed in Kiev, and they went to my apartment to take out the rest of the food that I left because they are starving. They're really starving. They don't have anything to eat there. And I gave them keys from my apartment and said, take everything you can. And they showed me my apartment, and it's my home.
Is it still standing?
It's still standing, but I don't know what will happen. I pray to God.
Snezana had to make the heartbreaking decision to leave her 74-year-old mother behind. And at the border in Romania, she had to say goodbye to her husband, Vitaly. How difficult was that?
I can't even tell you. It's impossible to realize that you are more or less safe, but they are not.
And how are you doing? Because we miss you so much.
Well, I miss you too, guys.
At this point, the family is still able to communicate with Vitaly by Zoom call. He is safe in Western Ukraine, in the same place Anne and Jeff finally connected with Snezana.
What do you need?
Yeah.
Where are you?
How can we help?
How can we help?
The Munsons bought airline tickets to get the three of them to safety.
Flew from Bucharest to Paris and from Paris to Chicago.
They arrived in Fitchburg on March 6th and are embracing a new chapter in America.
My daughter started to attend real American elementary school, and she was so excited for the big yellow bus to come and pick her up.
9 people are now living together under one roof in the Munson home.
Dear God, thank you for all the blessings that you've brought us. Thank you for bringing good friends here safely from Ukraine.
What's the family like with all these members here? Do you all pitch in and help cook and clean?
I mean, not really. I'm not big on chores.
Despite her fears for her beloved country, Snezana is looking forward to a better future for her family.
My motivation was to save my kids. And as a mom, this is the main thing that I should do in my life. So I think that I did it.
Snezana's mother made it out of Ukraine and is safe in the Czech Republic. And Vitaly's mother and aunt were able to reunite with him. Daniel has applied to UW-Madison and is hoping to become a Badger. A GoFundMe has been set up to help the family financially. If you can help, we have a link on channel3000.com.
Well, truly a remarkable story. Susan, thank you so much. And still ahead at 10, despite the snow, a sign today that spring is right around the corner, plus record-setting weather this month, and not in a good way. That story coming up next.
Working in my family's supper clubs. This is where it started with us as far as the fish that we serve at Culver's today. We source the finest cod and batter each fillet by hand and always cook it to order. That beautiful golden brown color and flaky on the inside. The fish fry is a Midwest tradition. It's about families coming together. I love bringing this tradition to guests everywhere. Mom and Dad would be proud. Welcome to Delicious.
At Ho Chunk Gaming Madison, the switch is always on. It guarantees the highest average payout percentage in the region. This leads to better odds and more wins than any place else around. Nobody messes with the switch.
Ho Chunk Gaming Madison.
Inflation has surged to a 40-year high. Democrats declared war on fossil fuels, so gasoline prices are at record levels. President Obama's chief economist says inflation is costing your family $4,000 a year. Why? Because Democrats are printing trillions of dollars to pay for their massive deficit spending. Inflation is the Democrats' tax on the middle class. I'm Ron Johnson, and I approve this message because I'm concerned about rising prices just like you.
Monona Plumbing and Fire Protection, a name you can trust when service is a must.
Monona Plumbing and Fire Protection is here 24 hours a day.
7 days a week for all your residential and commercial plumbing services.
From installation, repairs, and maintenance to complete sewer and drain cleaning, we've got you covered.
Visit MononaPFP.com.
Monona Plumbing and Fire Protection, a name you can trust when service is a must.
Whether you have a design emergency or you just want to shop the best furniture showroom in town, you need Dwellings, Madison's best kept secret for design and furniture. Shop our fabulous showroom, Hard Rock Road, Fitchburg.
There are dozens of things in your home that could be deadly if your child ingested them.
Our Time for Kids expert shares advice to help keep poisonous items out of small hands.
We may not be done with snow. I'm tracking that next system tomorrow morning from 4:30 to 7.
You're watching News 3 Now at 10.
Welcome back. According to AAA, nationwide, Americans are paying an average of $4.22 for a gallon of gas. Now, in an effort to get those prices down, President Biden today ordering the release of 1 million barrels of oil per day for the next 6 months, all from the nation's strategic petroleum reserve. New at 10, Skippy Foods announcing a voluntary recall of some peanut butter products due to the possibility that a limited number of jars may contain small fragments of stainless steel from a piece of manufacturing equipment. The recalled items have use-by dates from early May 2023. The products sold in 18 states, and that does include Wisconsin. If you don't like your recent purchase from IKEA, you're in luck. The Swedish furniture giant will pay you for those items. It's called the buyback and resell program, and it's now a permanent part of the company in its 37 U.S. stores. It only applies to personally used furniture that is fully assembled and functional. Well, it's hard to tell with the snow on the ground, but here's a sign. Spring's right around the corner. The Merrimack Ferry actually opened for the 2022 season today. It shuttles Highway 113 traffic, bicycles, pedestrians across the Wisconsin River 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The ferry operates free of charge for users. And looking ahead, the Wisconsin DOT says it'll host a pair of public involvement meetings to discuss and gather input on long-range plans for the Beltline. The first is April 12th. That'll be at the Memorial High School Commons. The second, the next day, April 13th. That'll be in the Village on Park Community Room. Next at 10, it has been a scary month for people all around the U.S. A record number of tornadoes touching down. Just this month, there have been at least 214 tornadoes, most on record since 1950. The Storm Prediction Center says the previous record for March set just last year, 191 tornadoes, usually on average about 80. And here's Gary with a look at some tornado reports just for the last 72 hours.
Yeah, you know, I mean, the problem is with the climate warming, right. You get severe weather earlier in the season. You also get it later in the season. Remember the December tornado outbreak we had. So you're getting it on both ends. But the last 2.5 days really have been very active across the country. Tornado reports stretch anywhere from Kansas City on the north down to the Gulf Coast on the south, as far west as Dallas and as far east as Raleigh, North Carolina. And severe weather reports. Take a look at this. Over the last 72 hours, there have been 465 severe weather reports, including tornadoes and high winds and hail, and again, stretched across pretty much of the southeastern portion of the country. 3 things you need to know in our forecast. Sunny skies tomorrow bring temperatures back up in the mid-40s, so a lot of the snow that we have, if not all of it, will melt. However, we'll be adding to it. Look for some accumulating snow Friday night into Saturday morning, and then again Sunday night into Monday morning. That'll keep temperatures chilly through most of next week. I don't see temperatures getting back to around normal until probably next weekend at the earliest. High-resolution Doppler radar, a few flurries still left. They're very stubborn. They're very light too, but they may continue till about midnight. You can see the snow moving off to the south and east. This is a composite radar picture looking at all the radars. That's why it looks like there's more snow than there really is. But the high-resolution radar really kind of pinpoints where the snow is. Now, again, we're looking for snow Friday night into Saturday morning. Computer model forecast, we're thinking probably about a 1 to 3 inch snowfall as it looks right now from around Madison to the north and east. Temperatures, just like this last snow, very critical, and the timing of the precipitation. If it arrives a little bit earlier, it'll be mainly in the form of rain. Arrives a little bit later, it'll be in the form of snow because temperatures will be a couple degrees colder. So everything has to come together to get the maximum amount of snow, and again, that's more likely north and west of Madison. Same thing with another system for Sunday night into Monday. Again, this one perhaps a little heavier snow, but more likely farther to the north and west. So Madison and areas to the south and east may stay mainly in the form of rain with just a little snow mixed in, but the farther north and west you go, the heavier the snow will get. And again, the timing and the temperatures very critical for how much snow eventually ends up on the ground. Temperatures, high temperatures today, these don't look like high temperatures for the last day of March. Only 30s, even as far south as Springfield, Missouri. And you can see current temperatures are below freezing through much of the upper Midwest. Temperatures are a little warmer out to the west, but the jet stream pattern is just not conducive to get any kind of a warm-up. It starts to push northward to our west, but notice it drops back down again, and this weather system will ride in and bring our upper-level winds back to the northwest and also bring us that next chance of rain and snow late tomorrow night into Saturday morning. Weather track right now, high pressure to the north, to the south. That's actually clearing out the skies. So once the flurries clear out of here, we'll look for clear skies overnight. Temperatures right now around 30 here, but you can tell where skies are starting to clear. Temperatures are a few degrees colder, and we'll look for low temperatures in the lower 20s. By tomorrow morning, or by tomorrow afternoon, look for a high of 44 degrees with mostly sunny skies, but the clouds moving back in for tomorrow night. You can see on future track, we start out in the mid-40s tomorrow afternoon. By late tomorrow night, here comes the rain and snow. Again, temperatures very critical for the timing and the amounts of snow, and it's all over with by late Saturday afternoon with even some clearing late in the day. Probably thinking about 1 to 3 inches of snow, mainly north and west of Madison. 7 to 10 day forecast, similar system Sunday night into Monday. Then look for temperatures to be a little warmer for Tuesday and Wednesday with mainly rain, a couple of flurries at night when temperatures are close to freezing, a bigger warm up toward next weekend.
And coming up in sports, the Bucks made the most of their trip to Brooklyn. We have highlights of their final regular season meeting with the Nets. That's on the other side of the break.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
PB and J? PB before we go. P before we go. P before we go. See you tomorrow? Yeah.
Does anyone really remember who comes in second? No, they don't. That's why you've got to put it all out there and be relentless. Because to be the best, you have to elevate your game. Hy-Vee took breakfast to a whole new level with new items made fresh to order. So when it comes to the best breakfast around, they know fresh.
And here's a simple takeaway. If you think you can find any better, then you don't know Hy-Vee and you don't know Jack.
Don't get stuck with internet and TV that costs more and does less. Set yourself free with Spectrum and get it all from one provider. Get Spectrum Internet with enough speed for all your devices all at once with speeds of 200 megabits.
Whoa, that's fast.
Plus, get a free modem and free desktop security to keep you safe online. Get Spectrum Internet for $49.99 a month. Call 833-605-4999. And don't get stuck with the same old TV. Multiply your screens. Spectrum TV with a free Spectrum TV app lets you watch here, there, and everywhere. Stream live TV, sports, news, and more on any device. Plus, access up to 85,000 on-demand titles. Get Spectrum TV from $49.99 a month. Call 833-605-4999. Don't get stuck paying more for less. Pick and choose the services you need. Spectrum Internet or TV, or get them both for $49.99 a month each, all with no contracts. Call 833-605-4999.
There are so many things we take for granted, and along with them, sometimes we take the people who depend on them for granted too. How can they survive with record increases in their basic cost of living? And through no fault of their own, they're being left behind. If you or someone you know needs a hand up, our energy, water, and emergency rental assistance providers are working together to keep you safely in your home. You may not ask for it, but we're here to help.
Everything seems to be more expensive these days. Everything costs more. Ron Johnson should be helping families like us, but he seems to have helped himself instead. An investigation found that Ron Johnson pushed through a special tax loophole that benefited his own family's business. Then he cashed out of the company for $5 million. He's doubled his wealth since taking office. It doesn't seem fair to me. Tell Ron Johnson to stop passing tax laws that benefit himself.
We rocks in the treetop all day long, hopping and a bopping and a singing this song. All the little birds on Jaybird Street love to hear the robin going tweet, 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 rockin' robin.
My time here at Wisconsin was great. It was an unforgettable experience. I thank all my coaches and my teammates that I had in my corner. And with that being said, I'd like to announce that I'll be declaring for the 2022 NBA Draft and hiring an agent, and can't wait for what happens next.
And there you have it. Johnny Davis officially declares for the NBA Draft, and it's a decision we all saw coming after the season he just had. Named a consensus first-team All-American, the Big Ten Player of the Year, Davis is a finalist for the Naismith Player of the Year and the Wooden Award, and is projected to be a top 10 pick. Now, if selected on June 23rd, he'll be the first Badger taken in the draft since 2015, when Frank Kaminsky and Sam Decker were selected. Playoff race is heating up. The Bucks with a chance to clinch tonight, but a couple of things need to happen. First, one of them is beating the Nets on the road. Now, it comes down to a fourth quarter battle. Tied at 92, Chris Middleton finds Giannis. He stuffs it for the 8th time tonight, giving the Deer the lead. Now, with 18 seconds on the clock, Giannis drains a game-tying triple to become the Bucks' all-time leading scorer, passing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Now, this sends the game to overtime, where the Bucks get it done while also clinching a spot in the playoffs. Now, things are looking really good for Wisconsin softball right now. The Badgers opened Big Ten play with a sweep of the Hawkeyes. Now, the last time UW started conference play 3-0, that was back in 2013. Well, even better news. This weekend is their home opener, and for the first time in nearly 3 years, fans will be back at Goodman Diamond. The only issue now, well, the snow and the cold. But those are two things that the Badgers say favor them.
We woke up and thought it was April Fool's. I mean, seeing snow, but we say all the time the cold favors us. So you're playing Indiana, it's a lot warmer down there when they make the trip here. So if it's cold weather, I think against any team, we've got the advantage. 2019 was the last time we had that spring season. It was a heck of a year for Badger softball. So I think we're looking to recreate the magic, and it's always fun to play in front of fans.
Wisconsin hosts Indiana this weekend for 3, and they head into Game 1 with an 8-game win streak. The series opener is set for tomorrow at 3. We'll be right back.
Save big on gas Friday, April 1st during Hy-Vee's annual April Fuels Day sale. Earn a 50-cent fuel saver for every $50 purchase. Spend $100, get $1 off per gallon of gas. Friday, April 1st, only at Hy-Vee.
PTI, I need the PDF, COB, AKA EOD. What's the ETA?
ASAP, FYI.
LMK. HBD Gordon. HBDY.
Oh, wow, look at this GIF. It's GIF, FWIW.
ROTFL.
You see my IM?
TLDR.
What?
Too low, didn't read.
Okay.
We don't need any more acronyms, but we could all use more ways to save.
DMX, YOLO!
Switch to GEICO for more ways to save.
SMH.
With broken supply chains and lives disrupted, businesses like Amazon have invested to deliver on time for you and help hundreds of thousands of small businesses gain access to millions of online shoppers. But Washington politicians have a law that could break Prime's guaranteed 2-day free delivery and threaten our fragile economic recovery. Tell your senators, don't break our prime. Oppose S 2992. Paid for by CCIA.
Over these past months, we've all experienced changes and a great deal of reflection. But here's a change you can truly be excited about. Sono Bello, America's #1 cosmetic surgery specialist, permanently removes the fat from your stomach, hips and thighs, and back.
I walked past mirrors. I didn't want to see any of that. I can't even tell you how excited I am about Sono Bello and what they've done for me.
I'm just living my best life now because I'm being the best that I can be.
Sono Bello's board-certified surgeons use micro-laser technology to safely target and remove your diet-resistant fat cells permanently. Schedule your free, no-obligation consultation. Plus, get $250 off instantly. You deserve to do something for you. Call 1-888-512-1753 or go to sonobello.com now.
Hello, I'm Gary Canolti, inviting News 3 Now viewers to join me on a fabulous New England and St. Lawrence Seaway cruise September 8th through the 18th. Experience the history and beauty of the Atlantic coast, Canadian maritime provinces, and the famous St. Lawrence Seaway aboard our delightful Holland America ship for a 7-night scenic cruise. Visit holidayvacations.com, keyword WISC, to learn more about this tour or call 888-557-1020 for a free brochure.
Save big on gas Friday, April 1st during Hy-Vee's annual April Fuels Day sale. Earn a 50-cent fuel saver for every $50 purchase. Spend $100, get $1 off per gallon of gas. Friday, April 1st, only at Hy-Vee.
Trust the First Warn Weather Team for your most accurate forecast. You're watching News 3 Now at 10.
A lot of people probably thought it was April 1st this morning when they woke up and that was some sort of a joke.
It'll be a joke tomorrow morning when you wake up. There'll still be some snow on the ground and it'll be 22. There's a live view from the Edgewater Sky Cam. A few flurries out there, but for the most part, the heavier snow is off to the east. Just very light flurries showing up on high-resolution Doppler radar. Visibility is right now still pretty good, so not coming down too hard. Temperatures right around freezing or a little bit below. Look for a low of about 22. High tomorrow 44. Temperatures stay chilly with some rain and snow chances Saturday morning and Monday morning.
All right, Gary, thanks. Thanks for joining us for News 3 Now at 10. Have a great night.